So our first example we have is when we're increasing speed, so we're speeding up while moving away from the reference. This one's pretty easy because we did this in our learning lab. We had our ramp and the cart started off with a speed of 0 at the top, and it got faster as it went down the ramp, and it moved away from the reference, which in the case of our lab was the ticker tape machine because it moved away from the top towards the bottom. So we already know what our DT graph should look like. Our DT graph, we already know, should be a nice curve, right? And it's going to be a curve because we have it moving along and it accelerating. So it starts off with a pretty flat speed or a low speed, nice and flat the curve is, and it gets steeper as it goes. It goes steeper as it goes because we remember the slope of the DT graph tells us the velocity. So down here, nice and flat, low velocity, and it gets steeper because the velocity is increasing. It starts off at 0, low, and gets higher as it goes along. So the slope is getting steeper as it gets faster, and it starts off near the T line and moves away. When we look at our VT graph, we also know what this looks like, right? Because we did this also during our learning lab. We found it was a nice diagonal line, and it was pretty straight. And that's because we have a constant acceleration. The amount of velocity we're adding for each time interval is going to be constant. So it's the same amount of velocity is being added for each time as we go along. It's positive because we're adding that velocity and it is in a positive direction. It's moving away. So it starts off down here with a low velocity or 0, a small speed, and it gets higher as it goes, and positive because it's moving away. Now, we didn't do the acceleration time graph in our lab because it would have been kind of boring to draw. You'll notice I have a straight VT graph, and the VT graph tells me what's going to happen here because the slope of this is the acceleration. That means that if this is a constant slope, I have a constant acceleration. This slope is positive, it's uphill, which means I will have a nice positive constant acceleration as well. So that will tell me it's a constant value and positive since the slope of the VT is positive.